Hello, this is Annette coming to you again, sharing the experiences of Peace Corps volunteers. Before I introduce you to Katrina, let me share a little bit about Peace Corps, its mission, and its vision. So the Peace Corps is a service opportunity for motivated change makers to immerse themselves in a community abroad, working side by side with host country nationals to tackle challenges that they may have or concerns that they may have in their communities. The Peace Corps mission is to promote world peace and friendship by fulfilling three goals. One, to help the people of interested countries to meet their need for trained men and women. Two, to help promote a better understanding of Americans on the part of the people served. And three, which is what this series is all about, to help promote a better understanding of other people on the part of Americans. And today we have Katrina, who is going to share about her service. Hi, Katrina.
Hello.
So where did you serve and when?
So I served in Moldova. It's better known as the Republic of Moldova from 2015 to 2017.
Oh, cool. And what was your project in Moldova?
So I was primarily an English education volunteer, but I spent a lot of time with my secondary project, which was focused in environmental education.
Oh, that's huge and really important. Are you doing some of that work here as well?
Absolutely. That's my big passion. So I am an English teacher now in the States. I live in Virginia, and I also run the Environmental Leadership Club at my school.
That's awesome. That's not so far from me. I'm in Delaware. Okay, so in terms of your project in Moldova, what project did you do and how well did it work with the community in which you serve?
So it was really a unique experience for me because I was in the school already and I had access to a lot of youth that my fellow volunteers who were in community development or business development didn't really have the same access to. So I was at an advantage there for sure. But my project focused on recycling, and I was located in the north of Moldova, and I'm actually wearing a shirt from Smokehouse, which is a place in capital that everyone loved to go.
Nice.
So it's also, and I was up in the north, up in here in this area above Drink. And we had students learn leadership skills about how to be leaders in the community. They also learned about environmental issues, and they went back and trained the rest of their schools about these issues. And that primed them for the contest, which we had a recycling competition between 6 different schools the first year to see who could collect the most recycling in a certain amount of time. And the catch, which was why everyone wanted to participate, is the recycling company that we were selling the recycling to was actually giving us money per kilogram for the recyclables. So the schools were actually able to raise money in the process.
Nice.
Participating in this competition. Yeah. So it was a huge success. We had way more collected than we thought we were going to. Which is great. We thought we were going to recycle 300 kilograms. We ended up recycling over 1 ton in total the first time around, and we replicated the project the following year. Did it again in Rishkan, which is about 45 minutes north of Belts, which is where the first project took place, which also includes my village, because I was in a village right outside of that city. Anyway, that's details, but it was a lot of fun. We ended up having 16 schools learn how to recycle in 2 years, and then it expanded after I left and became a national project.
Nice, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, so where was your you said you lived a couple of miles from where the recycling place was. So in terms of where your housing was, what did you live with a family? Were you by yourself or were you with another volunteer?
Right. So as you know, and as anyone who knows Peace Corps fairly well knows, you're required to live with a host family for your first 3 months of service, which is actually your training, and then the next 3 months, at least this is how it was in Moldova. I'm assuming it's like this everywhere. So a total of 6 months you had to be with a host family, and most people remain with a host family after that because it's just easier. They're already there. Also, it's hard to find housing sometimes when you don't know the language super well and it's limited. So I was with a host family, and I was in a small village called Corleten, which is about 2.5 hours from the capital, which is Chisinau. And it was a fairly large village. It was small at the time, but it used to be pretty big, and it was right outside of Belts, which is the second largest city in the country of Moldova. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. You did. And how did you have, in terms of transportation to and from those locations, to be able to purchase things or food or grocery shopping? Did you hitchhike? Did your family take you, or was it in walking distance, or were you biking?
So when I was living just like day-to-day activities, my host family provided most of the food for me, and I paid them. But there was what you would call a magazine, which is another word for like a grocery store or like a small store. Sometimes they had gas stations with them, but in the village we didn't really have. We had one at the top of the hill for gas, but I would go there for like bread and whatever kind of snacks I needed, beer. It was a very, as you can tell in this picture or this shirt, Moldova is a very, there's a lot of alcohol consumption in that country. It's actually cheaper than water to get beer.
Wow, nice. So what language did you learn while living with your family?
I learned Romanian, and I also learned Russian because the country is mostly bilingual.
Oh.
Most people are. Actually, to answer your question, going back to the transportation, I rode what's called a rutiera most of the time. It's like a big 20-passenger van, and they also hitchhiking when you couldn't get a rutiera because those only ran certain parts of the day unless you're in the city, which they run more often. In the city, you ride a trolley bus. Sometimes you walk. It just depends. Like I walked to work every day because it was close to home. But if I needed to leave the village for anything, I usually got or a village taxi. And that connects to your question about language because you never knew which language. Well, typically you would know if in and out of the village everyone spoke Romanian, but in Belts in the city which was only like 7 to 10 kilometers from the village.
It was Russian?
It was mostly Russian speaking, right? Because it was a Russian. Because it also has a lot to do with the political side of the country because they're very torn. If you know where Moldova is located, it's right between Romania and Ukraine.
Yeah.
So at the fall of World War II, obviously Romania went with the EU, but Moldova and east of that was all claimed by the Soviet Union.
And it is literally centrally located.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It was really convenient, and I never even joined the Peace Corps to travel. Like that was not in my head when I signed up.
Right.
But for a lot of people it was, and I didn't even think about how convenient it was to live in Moldova because I was traveling all over Europe while I lived there because it was easy. Like once you're there, you can grab a Ryanair or Wizz Air, take it somewhere cheap for $50 or, and it's so amazing how cheap it is to travel.
Nice.
Well, yeah,
no, go ahead.
In Moldova are typically more pro-Russia now, and the Romanian speakers in Moldova are more EU typically. So depending on where you live and what language you speak, that's typically what kind of political element. It's not always the case, but generally speaking, I'm generalizing a lot. But.
Okay, so you had the opportunity to basically learn two different, or to become familiar enough with two different languages because of the travel piece and I guess where you were located in your service.
It's mainly geographic location because if you think about it, like Romania is a pretty big country and that's a pretty standardized language. It's not very much spoken here in the United States, but it is over there. And then Russian is a huge language that a lot of the world speaks. So that was more like Russian was more common if you were to interact with a tourist that showed up in Moldova. They were more likely to use Russian. like they could use that as they're traveling, not just
Okay. Cool. That is pretty awesome. So, in terms of your favorite part of service, what was something your most memorable part of your service?
Man, I mean, really all of the friendships that I made. I met so many wonderful people um, who really influenced me and helped me to learn about myself and to be more self-sufficient, and just they helped me mature. You know, I was there 2 years, so it's a good time to. I was there in my mid to late 20s. I got there when I was 25, and I left at 27. And I'm 30 now, so that was 3 years ago when I came back. So it was a good time to like really shape what my adult life was going to turn into, and it was great. I'm really thankful that I had that experience and met all of those people, and they were all ages. You know, I had friends that were like were youth that I was working with on my recycling project, because we had the youth leaders that were typically juniors or seniors in high school. They were running most of the things. The girl that was the president of the organization, they ended up forming a nonprofit before I left, and I was helping them do that. Yeah, and she was a senior when we were doing that. So by the time she graduated from high school, she was also the executive director of a nonprofit
Look
organization.
at you.
I'm really
Nice.
proud of her. And like that whole group of kids were really, and you know, a couple of them, like COVID's been really hard on people, and I had one friend that I worked with that ended up committing suicide recently, and that was really hard to learn about because we had all worked together so much, and he was a very close friend of mine. And I, you know, I hope he rests in peace and is in a better place now. But my friendships really were powerful. They were very powerful. And I co-taught,
Awesome.
you know, my teaching. I taught with English teachers, and they helped me with my Romanian or my Russian, and I helped them with their English, you know. And I studied French in school, and a lot of people over there study French or English as a foreign language, depending on which one they're more interested in. Those are the two like top foreign languages. Because
Right.
Russian is something you're expected to learn, or Romanian if you're in. That's like your second language that you learn, and that's just expected. And then after that, it's French or English. So
Okay.
lots of language practice, and when
I
you
was
talk
going to say, you were exposed to a lot.
you have to make it to understand what
And
they're
so
saying.
you really were perfectly, uh-oh. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so you were like perfectly located. You got a chance to use your French. You had an opportunity to teach and engage with English, Romanian, and Russian.
Hmm.
That is
Yeah, I was
awesome.
speaking 3 languages a day typically.
Cool. So if there were other people who were considering or thinking about doing Peace Corps, what are some suggestions you would impart to them in terms of preparing and what to expect in their service?
My advice would be to have no expectations and be open-minded, because you have no idea. Like, I didn't come in knowing any language. I didn't even know, I couldn't even say hello very well. And I'm in a unique situation in that my uncle, my father's brother, is married to a Moldovan woman, and so I have Moldovan family over there in the capital. Um, and I'm the only volunteer that I know that has ever had that situation. So I was in a very unique situation. So technically I should have been like well prepared, but I still came in knowing really nothing. So just have no expectations and be willing to try new things, and say yes, even if the food looks really weird. And yeah, you might get sick, but that's okay, because it's part of the process of learning. And
Yes.
you know, go, and when someone invites you to do something, go and do it and enjoy it, and take pictures and laugh a lot, and be willing to make language bloopers because it happens, and they're great
Yes.
stories.
That is awesome. So I completely agree with Katrina. Go being flexible and with an open mind and an open heart, because there are definitely going to be some dishes that you get and you're like, oh my gosh, thank you. And in your head you're like, why would you do this to me?
Yeah.
Mine was donkey meat, and my community continued to give me donkey meat. And you could smell it like a mile away. And then it became like the running joke, like, see if you can slip some donkey meat in the food and see if she's going to notice. And I was like, yo, I can smell the donkey meat. And they'd be like, ha!
Yeah, you gotta learn to laugh at yourself and enjoy it and just accept that you're different. I mean, I was the only American that a lot of those people interacted with ever, and they're gonna
Yeah.
remember me for the rest of their lives because, like, I'm the only connection they have to this side of the world. And that's powerful and kind of scary if you think about it, if you really take it seriously and realize that, like, you're representing your entire country.
That is huge. That is so huge. And because we don't authentically represent everyone, it is important to share our authentic selves and to let them know, you know what? Everyone doesn't think or process like me, but I'm coming to you as is, and this is what me and my family and friends do. And then, like, sharing from there if they are open to that, or if they're just like, okay, then teach us more about you. That is part 2 of our Peace Corps service. So we appreciate your authenticity. We are definitely hoping that, you find some volunteers whose experiences that you may connect with and ask or inquire more about their service. So if you could change anything about your service, would you? And what would it be?
Wow. Question. I don't think there's much that I would change. Maybe spend more time with my host family, and because I was always going and doing things all the time, and kind of it's I guess it's also kind of an American thing to want to go, and my family was not individualistic like that. They were more communal based, and so they were always, doing things together and waking up really early. I don't like waking up early, especially when I don't have to, so often I would sleep on the weekends. And I think that's the only thing I would change, is spend more time with them, because I miss them, and it's something that pulls at me sometimes.
And that time goes really fast. Like, you don't, I think near the end of your service, you realize that, like, it's almost over. Like, hold up. But I still have some, but I want to, but I didn't get a chance to. But so my change would be to take full advantage of all of those opportunities that you shared, hanging with your family, connecting more with your community. I'm looking for a variety of counterparts, because that allows you to participate in a variety of projects, even though I think nowadays, like, the project that I was a part of as Peace Corps was PACE, Parent and Community Education. So my project was about developing new projects, whereas other volunteers had specific tasks and duties, and they were sometimes connected to their counterparts in advance. So for me, I guess having an idea of where your passion lies and being open to the possibility of when you share, and taking advantage of those opportunities to be with family and friends when you're invited to go out. I ended up at the farm, and I was like, I don't know where we're going. We'd be on some back bumpy road heading to the farm, and I was like, this is cool. And I wish I took more pictures. Totally wish I took more pictures.
Yeah.
So, but I did keep a journal. So if you're considering going to Peace Corps, start journaling, because some of your experiences you won't even remember until you start reading. I've pulled mine out, and I'm like having like the time of my life reading my journal, like reliving some of these things and being shocked at some of the experiences that I don't even remember having.
Yeah, I kept the journal and the blog, so I was trying to, like, make sure that people would keep up with me too.
Oh, awesome. So how can we keep up with your blog? How can we follow you?
Oh, I don't update it anymore. I stopped.
No, but is it still there that they can go and check it out?
Yeah, it's still there. It's a WordPress. I think it's called Katrina Broughman WordPress or something. I don't remember. I'd have to send you the link. You can share it.
Okay, perfect. We'll put it in the comments underneath in our YouTube. So if you are watching us, make sure you check out Katrina's blog. And as most Peace Corps volunteers, if you are interested in serving as a Peace Corps volunteer, please check out the website. We have recruiters that are there waiting to answer any questions that you may have. If you are one that likes to check out things on their own, just go to peacecorps.gov. They have like the frequently asked questions. They have the locations, the programs, everything. And just know that volunteers are change makers. They are ready with communities to make a difference, and each volunteer's experience is uniquely different and uniquely their own. So if you're interested, please check out the website, peacecorps.gov. Katrina, thank you so much for joining me today. And I look forward to hearing more about Moldova via your blog.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Bye.